journey by having some very clear concepts in mind as far as IT is concerned. And for us to be able to support our healthcare business, we believe that the IT that we put in place should have a very comprehensive EMR system, and it should also have the component of an ERP as well as telemedicine. And underneath this should be a portion where you should be able to have a patient administration section, and then a business analytics session where you can analyze based on the kind of data we collect. We can do different forms of analysis, be it clinical analysis and financial analysis. And then we should also be able to make it possible for patients to also go online and then check for their own medical records by having a patient portal interface. So this is our goal. And in our timeline, we are currently have been able to do the EMR part, the ERP part, and then we are in the process of delivering on the telemedicine part. The patient administration part and then business analytics is something that we are going to go into somewhere before the end of the year. But for us, what is also important is that the application we are delivering should have the global patient approach, where one patient in Ghana, one of our patients in Ghana should be able to go to Kenya, or should be able to go to Nigeria and still have healthcare. So having the global patient approach is something that is key. And also our application needs to be multi-tenant. So we are going to use one software that will be run across all these countries. And also our application should also be possible to be able to run light, that is on tablets as well as on computers. So this, among other things, are the things that we have in mind. So on this note, I'll just pause here, since we are looking at the real demo, for us to be able to demo the first three, which is the EMR, ERP side, as well as the telemedicine side, which is where we are at now. And Marcel, I'll stop sharing for your team to take over.
All right. Thank you, Patrick.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. Good day, everyone. Volume is gone. All right, thank you, Patrick. Good day, everyone. Okay, just to take it from where Patrick left off, and before I call Christopher to come on board to give us the demo, I would just like to set a context for the demo that we'll be showing shortly. So looking at our strategy, like what Patrick said, I'm trying to get an operating system that can run the entire hospital that we have within our fleet. So we needed to have a system that is built from ground up. Because of the intricacies, healthcare is one sector where a whole lot of consideration has to be given into the customer journey, from when they walk into your door to when they go through the various services that are available within your ecosystem, to ensure that you give that seamless experience. Now, with all this in mind, we built a solution that can address all of these challenges, a solution that is highly customizable, that is intuitive, easy to use, and together have the operational part of it, which is the AHR and the ERP. So with this, I'll just call Christopher to show us how it works, and also the analytics part of it, which take into cognizance the patient records, patient information, and every other thing that we need to see on this demo. So Christopher, if you're there, can you please share your screen and come up with the demo. Hello, Christopher, are you there?
Hello, Marcel. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I
Hello?
can hear you. I can see your screen now. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Marcel. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so right on my screen is the front desk module of the EROP. And this module is the entry point to the entire system. So from here, all the patient's activities ranging from patient record and demography is being captured. Like you can see on my screen, the dashboard gives you at a glance, every activities on a daily basis. So at a glance, we can see from a standpoint of view, every patient registered on a daily basis across the group. So right now, I have here on my screen 6 private patients, 1 corporate patient, 3 insurance patients, 0 family patients. So whenever patient is registered from any location, the supervisor easily gets the total patient record count. And this is grouped by category. So we can tell how many of these different categories visited the facility on a daily basis. Then the second row of the dashboard will have patient visit by category. The first row talks about patient registration. These are new patients who just visited the facility for the first time. So the second row gives us a glance of the patients who visited today, not just new patients, but those who have been registered before now. So you can see on my screen, I have 42 private patients, 11 corporate patients. So I don't need to start calling the front desk officer to get all these updates. I can access this system from my tablet, even from my mobile phone, anywhere I am, as long as I have the privilege to do that. So I can tell the total number of patients that visited the facility on a daily basis. Then I can even hook up with online appointment booking if there is any. Then at a glance, I can also tell the total number of patients that have been registered in the facility across the group. So you can see I have about 57,000 private patients, 12,000 plus corporates, insurance, and so on. So this system helps to keep track, not just patient demography, it keeps track of all clinical activities, it keeps track of all administrative activities. It also integrates with finance module where all the financial activities take place. And the integration is very seamless because it's API supportive. So I don't need too many configurations to be able to connect to external application. It's a very user-friendly application, very robust, easy to navigate, and friendly to use. So this application comes with lots of modules, which the front desk is one. Now, the way the system is designed such that for cash paying patients, you pay before services are being rendered to you. But it has the option to allow you to access services and then pay later if you have an arrangement with the hospital. Good. And apart from private patients, it also takes care of corporate patients, takes care of HMO patients, and also manage tariffs effectively. So there's no conflict in terms of tariff, where a situation whereby you have patients HMO tariff missing up. So if we have like 100 patients, 100 HMO with their different number of patients, the system is able to manage their tariff effectively and also automatically generate bills for these different HMO and their patients on a daily basis. So the billing officers does not have much to do. All they do is to do quality assurance check on every bill. So they don't have much to do. The system automatically generates the bill for every visit. So at the end of the month, when the billing officers prepares the bill, they can now send to every HMO. That's the insurance companies. Good. Then the finance guys, they don't need to start calling the billing officers, calling the cashiers to get updates on their daily transaction. All the modules are integrated such that as the activities are going on at the cash point, the finance guys are seeing what's going on there. So they know how much has been generated across the group. So from the management level, they can tell how many how much cash has been collected, and this collection is being broken down into different mode of payment. So you can tell how much cash was collected, how much bank transfer was made, how much POS collection was made, how much bank deposit was made. It also allows payment with check. So you can tell how many checks was collected across the group. And apart from that, for the billing side, the finance guys can tell how many bills have been processed for the month, how much each bill was. For the HMO side, how much each HMO has accrued on the system. So the system is so robust such that for the administrative side, it takes care of all the administrative administrative functions ranging from the HRO down to central store, down to inventory. So at the central store level, when procurement is made to procure items and it's being stocked into the system can manage and track details of every item from where it is being purchased and to when it is being disbursed to the different departments that will be using it. And it can also track how these items are being given out to every patient. So it keeps total record of every activities going on in that aspect. All right, now back to the front desk. I will explain the flow of patients within the entire system. It allows you to register patients in your group, in your current facility. It also allows you to access patients from all who have been registered in other facilities. So if I have facilities across the country and a patient has registered in facility A, but right now this patient is currently in facility B in another part of the country and wants to access care, as long as the patient is within the group, that patient record can easily be accessed from any of the group with the right privilege. So in facility B, the officers there can easily call up the patient name and then commence transaction and then with that patient file. Another good thing with the system is that if the patient has funds in a particular facility and wants to make use of that fund in the current facility, with the right privilege, that fund can be transferred from the patient's account here to that account, to the account in the other facility. So the patient does not need to start making payments. Good. Now in this front desk module, a whole lot can be done here. Patient file can be registered for new patients. The front desk officers can also assess patient on admission. They can also post an existing patient.
Hello, Christopher.
Yeah.
I don't know if your mouse is moving. I can't see some of the things that you're saying, right? So do you want to go into the function of the applications? Maybe open the new registration, the IVF module, and all that things that you're saying.
Okay.
Thank
But
you.
can you see my screen clearly?
Yeah, I can see. I just thought maybe it was static or something, but I can see now it's moving.
Okay. All right. So I just finished explaining the dashboard and then the patient's category, daily visit category, and also total patient count by category. Now let's look at some of the functions we have at the front desk. Now, this is the patient's new registration form. So with this form, the patient detail is captured, and then the front desk officer has two options. You can just register the patient and then keep the file for later use. You can also register the patient and also post the same patient to see a doctor immediately. Now, if the patient is an existing patient, when you call up the name to post to a doctor, the system has the ability to check if this patient consultation period is still active. Now, if the patient consultation period is still active, the system doesn't charge the patient. Automatically, it posts the patient name to OPD for vitals. Good. Now, suppose the patient consultation period has elapsed. The system automatically detects that and then prompts the front desk officer that this patient consultation period has elapsed, and then also notify the officer what the patient needs to pay, and then direct the patient to cash point for payment. So until the payment is made, the patient profile will not be accessible from any other unit. So the form I just opened earlier is the new registration form, which allows the front desk officer to register a patient. Now, for an existing patient, this is the interface where the front desk officer calls up a name. So you can search for the patient by name. You can also search by phone number. So if I decide to search, for example, gives me related names based on what I type. So if I find the name, as I keep typing, the list is being filtered until I get to the name I want. So once I get to the name I want, it's just a matter of clicking and then say go. Gives me the patient file. So I can open the patient file by clicking on the name. So once the name is opened, you can see the details of the patient. You can even see the picture. You can even see the signature of the patient to confirm that this is the right patient you are attending to. So if the picture is not there, the system allows you to capture the patient photograph immediately. And if the signature is not there also, the system allows you to capture the signature immediately.
Okay. Just for the sake of data protection, the information we have here are demo data. It's not live
Yeah,
data.
they are not live
so
data.
What you see are demo patients data. Thank you.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Okay, so that's the form where you call up existing patient and then post to a doctor. So like I said, the system is very sensitive. It automatically detects the consultation duration per specialty. If a patient has seen a general doctor, let's say the consultation duration lasts for 30 days. Now, if the patient is still within that 30 days and the name is posted again, it doesn't charge for consultation. But if that same patient comes to see another specialty like a cardiologist for the first time, the system also automatically detects and then raises charges for that patient. Okay, so that's for posting an existing patient. It also allows for family setup. Now, for family setup, a family can come and create a file for the family. Now, we have two categories. We have the limited family setup and the unlimited family setup, which comes with different charges. For the limited family setup, there's a number of dependents that can be registered under that family. So the advantage of this is that each of the dependents don't need to pay for registration, unlike a private patient. For a private patient, if you register, you pay for your registration. So if 10 private patients are registering, they will pay for their individual registration. But for family setup, once the family head has created a family file which comes with charges, depending on whether it is limited or unlimited, every other dependent will be registered on that family file will not have to pay for registration. So some family do take advantage of this. So the system can check to know if the number of dependents has exceeded or not. And then it allows the family to have a billing system such that at the end of the month, you can generate a bill for the family to let them know what they have consumed so far. And it also provides room for every patient having an account. So you can just come to deposit money in your account if you don't want to be coming with cash each time you visit the facility. The system has an account for every registered patient. So money can be deposited in the account. So for both private and family patients, they can deposit money in their account. So whenever the dependent comes to access care, as long as there's money, sufficient fund in the family account, they can always access care and be attended to. And the good thing about this is that as the money is being spent from the family account or private account, the system keeps record of it. So at the end of the day, you can print out the statement to show how this money has been spent for both private and for both family. Good. Then it has room for pay later transactions for private. There are some special patients who the facility, hospital is already, they already have a kind of understanding. So with proper approval, services can be rendered to this patient as pay later, and the system keeps record of all the bills. So whenever they come to make payments, the bill can be opened and they can make full payment or part payment. And then the system is so sensitive for anyone who has outstanding payment. Whenever the name is called up, the system flags that to notify them that, oh, this patient has some outstanding payment. So at the front desk, at the cash point, at every module, wherever the name is called up, the person who is attending to that patient knows that this person has an outstanding bill. Okay.
All right, Christopher, thank you. I know the modules are quite many. We have close to like 26 different modules that take care of the various specialties that involve the system, which is now we might need a whole longer time to be able to exhaust all the module. Because of time, I understand that you have like 10 minutes because you still need to demo the MyCare mobile. Can you please show other functionalities, maybe like additional to maybe the IVF and also the EMR that you have on the system?
Or Marcel, sorry, and Christopher, it's Nicholas from Beyond Capital. I'm just curious, is there a module that is least developed or needs the most work, but you think would be most beneficial? And I'm just curious, like, how would you, which module or modules that would be, and just your progress for rollout of those modules.
Okay, so module that is most general is the module around the general medicine. That's module around the lab, the pharmacy, and the front desk. That's primary care.
And I guess not most general, but what do you think would be the most beneficial to the clinics or the doctors or staff that is still only 50% developed, right? I'm just curious, how would you rank priority of module development relative to what the goal is?
Okay, so amazingly, this is a full-blown product. We've taken our development to like a 90%.
Okay.
Yeah, so the only 10% that is remaining is on the business analytic part of it, where we need to create a data warehouse to pull all the information and start mining data. But for the clinical management system, is 100% built.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is the front desk module. Let's look at the clinical module, the doctor side. Okay, so this is the doctor's module. Whenever a patient is posted to a doctor, the patient is accessible from this module. So from this module, the doctor can manage both outpatient and inpatient. So if I go to OP list on my left, it gives me all the patients for outpatient services. Then if I go to IP list, it gives me all patients on admission. If I go to antenatal list, it gives me all patients posted for antenatal activities. So right here, the doctor can access, like I said earlier, both inpatient and outpatient, and also schedule operation for a patient. Good. So every activity the doctor is doing for a patient is being recorded by the system. The consultation documentation, the EMR to check patient medical history, everything is being taken care of right here in this module. Then if the doctor posts investigation or prescribed drugs for a patient, the system automatically generates bill for that patient. If it's not a private patient, it generates bill which goes to the billing module for bill preparation. So this is the doctor's module. And we also have the pharmacy module where they dispense drugs to patients that doctor have prescribed drugs for. Now, for the pharmacy module, for the private patients, this is the way it works. Once the doctor prescribes drugs for the patient, it lands in the pharmacy platform. So the pharmacy guys, they can open the patient prescription, they counsel the patient with the drug, and confirm the patient has sufficient funds to pay for that drug that has been prescribed. So once the patient consents that he or she is okay with the prescription, then the pharmacy posts the drugs to the cashier for payment. So once the payment has been confirmed, before the pharmacist can dispense the drug. If the payment is not made, the pharmacist will have that ability to dispense the drug for the patient. So after payment, they can now do a dispense for that patient. And then the system keeps record of every prescription the patient has been, the doctor has prescribed for the patient right from inception. So at any time the patient visits the facility again, the doctor can always call back the previous record to check what medication was given to the patient last, irrespective of the branch the patient visited across the group. So they can access all those records from the patient EMR. They can also access the admission history to know the different times the patient has been on admission, to know all the documentation during each admission, know all the medication, if there's any surgery, all these can be accessed from the EMR, which is accessible to only the doctors and some other medical staffs who have been given the privilege to access those information. Then we also have other modules like the lab module. We have the chronic disease module for chronic disease patients. We have the counseling module, we have the dietitian module, we have the HIM module where the clinical records of a patient is being managed. We have the HMO officers module for insurance patients. This module acts like the cashier for private patients. Now, there are some services that a patient may not be covered for on the insurance tariff. So such services require special code before the service can be rendered to the patient. So whenever such services are being posted, it is the HMO officers that connect with the HMO to get the required code to render that services to the patient. So these guys are like the cash module for HMO and corporate. Then we also have the HRO module. We have the ICT admin module where the ICT guys configures the system and do some creation. Then we have the IVF module, the internal audit module. We also have the legal module. This module is where the legal officer confirms all new insurance clients that have been registered on the system to be sure that they meet all the legal requirements before patients can be registered under each of these insurance clients. We also have the occupational health module. I've mentioned the pharmacy module. We also have the physiotherapy module, procurement module, quality assurance module, then radiology module. And all these modules are interrelated. They communicate via API. So the communication is very seamless. The user interface is very friendly. And the good thing with the system is that it supports API connectivity. So it can easily integrate with other systems seamlessly and share data.
All right. Christopher, thank you. I don't know, so because of time, because we need to also demo my care mobile, Nicholas, I don't know if you don't mind, do you have any other question or clarification you would like us to make at this point?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Over to Patrick.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you. I think we're having an echo. Okay. Just. Thank you very much. I think we are now going to just do a brief demo of the MyCare Mobile. Now, I know earlier on you asked a question whether there is a model that is still being developed. Yes, MyCare Mobile is currently under development, but it's not 100% complete yet, but we still have some features that we can demo for you to see. Mills, please, can you take over?
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure if it's just me, but I think Kaori is experiencing the same. We cannot hear Emmanuel.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is it better now?
Yes. I can.
Okay, great. So now we are on the e-scheduler creating an invoice for the patient, because in all our services, it's you pay before a service is rendered to you. So he creates the invoice for the patient. He chooses the facility MyCare Mobile. We choose the MyCare Mobile price list, and the product we choose teleconsult first. Teleconsult. Then we create a bill. When this bill invoice is created, it's sent to a copy is sent to the patient. So if the patient calls for payment or payment is done, the e-scheduler will have to come and approve this teleconsult. Because if the e-scheduler doesn't approve the teleconsult, the doctor cannot see the consultation and the time made for the patient. So this is the interface. The e-scheduler comes again and approve the time for or the appointment for the patient. So if he approves the appointment, then on the appointment screen of the doctor, he can see all the patient that has been booked for him to review. So when the time is due, the doctor comes in, click on start a video call. So this video call will automatically call the patient for the doctor to start a video call in here. So when it starts a video call, this is the reason for the video call. Maybe we can say headache. This is patient medical history. In this area, the doctor talks to the patient about medical history, any sickness he's been having, or any history he wants to know. So the doctor takes all the history here If you want to create a review, you want to schedule an imaging review, that is something like a CRT or any imaging for the patient to go do it. He schedules it here. If there's any vitals, ROS, if you want to do a prescription or a lab or imaging request, this is the portal. The doctor does everything here. So after the doctor is done with the consultation, okay, so I was calling the test patient. He has picked. He's called Jonathan. So Jonathan, how are you doing? Okay. Okay, great. So thank you very much. So if the doctor is done, we end the call from here. Then after this is done, if the doctor sent a lab to the e-lab technician, the e-lab technician goes to his lab form. In this lab form, he's going to see all the pending labs for him to do. And in this case, too, an invoice should be created for the patient for payment. When payment is done, the e-scheduler will come and approve for the time given. Then the e-lab tech will have to drive to the patient facility, take a sample, and come back to run the test. When it's done, he also enters the lab test in here for the doctor to have a fail of it again, and a review or a consultation is again raised for the patient before the medication is sent from the doctor to the dispenser. And in the same process, a dispenser creates the bill. The bill is approved when payment is done by the e-scheduler before dispensing is done. The last thing I would like to demo is we have been sending a video on how medication is taken. So I want to demo one of our video on how we send a video to the patient before the medication gets to the patient.
Hello, Mr. Obin. Welcome to my care mobile. I'm David Ogni, the dispenser for my care mobile, and these are your medications. You are taking ciprofloxacin, an antibiotic. You are taking one twice daily for 14 days after meals. And you are taking diclofenac capsules, a pain reliever. You are taking one twice daily for 7 days after meals. And you have Zincovit tablets. You take one tablet daily for 30 days after meals. And you have Vermox tablets. You take one tablet at night, that's at bedtime. Thank you for choosing my care mobile. Bye-bye.
So this sample video is sent to the patient even before the medication arrives at his or her doorsteps. So this is in just few minutes so far where we've gotten to our telemedicine platform, My Care Mobile. Thank you very much. Sir Patrick, over to you.
Thank you, Mills, for. I think you can. Okay. Now, the just what was demoed. I want to know if you have any question. And at the moment, as far as telemedicine is concerned, we are just doing the teleconsult bit of it, and then for the ERP, we have the complete model that is currently being used. So.
Yeah. So you said with the ERP or the backend system, you're 90% of the way there. On the front end, you mentioned only having the teleconsult, but like what else is to be done, or where else do you see progress to be made?
Okay, so as far as the telemedicine side of it is concerned, we are now going to integrate that on the patient database so that once a doctor consults, he can always save the data onto the existing medical records, and then he can always go back to pull the records as well. So that's one work that we are also doing. And then we are also working on, because, okay, now Mills was using the term e-scheduler, doctor, and things like. For us, we have been able to differentiate that from the existing doctors. These are just fancy terminologies we use to make a distinction between the telemedicine crew and then the existing crew in the various clinics. So one thing that we also do is that we have a team that currently goes around to take lab samples. So that is another aspect that we are building to ensure that once they take the lab, they are able to also assess some clinical information also on the system, and so on and so forth. And then nurses are also as well. So these are just a few things that we are doing to be able to complete the loop on the telemedicine side.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any other question?
Any feedback from the folks who are using it, right? Just any additional features, functions, anything that's like, you know, sort of I don't know, if not development for tomorrow, development for today, excuse me, like development for tomorrow, like 6 or 9 months down the road that you'd like to do?
Okay, so all right. So for development for tomorrow, right? We'd like to take the existing AHR to the next level. So currently, what we plan is to transfer from the current version, which is a V2, to a V3. So we're going to be working on the V3 version. Now, the V3 version is to help us to consolidate all the hospitals and clinics that we have within our ecosystem, so that as a patient, you can have that one seamless journey. So if I visit Ghana, for example, I come for an investigation, and say tomorrow I visit Nigeria, I should be able to do that without necessarily being out of that ecosystem. So the V3 version that's coming up, right, will help us to be able to do that seamlessly. And also, someone sitting at the very top should be able to have an overview of everything that's happening within the ecosystem through business analytics, through AI integration. So all that will be in the next phase of development that we're working on.
And to add to what Marcel said, the V2 also is going to be heavy on data protection, because the experiences we currently have is that every country has its own data protection laws. So we want to ensure that we are able to meet these laws at the various like jurisdictions, like with the Ghana data protection laws, that of Nigeria and that of Kenya, because now patients are made aware of what their rights are. So we want to really include that in the development process.
Gotcha. Okay.
So are there any other questions? If not, EI, over to you. You can take over.
Thanks, Patrick. Yeah, I think there's nothing further from me. If Nicholas and Kayuri are satisfied with the responses.
No, I feel good. Thank you for taking the time this morning to walk through this in detail. I imagine you've done this several times, and I don't mean to interrupt the work that you have to do in actual development, and then in just simply engaging with customers and running your business, but it is just beneficial for us to see this in practice. So again, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, guys. Thanks, Kayuri, Nicholas. Appreciate it.
Yes, if we could get a copy of this whenever you all get a chance, I think that the rest of our team would love to see it in action as to echo what Nicholas has said. It's really helpful for us just to be able to see the tech actually being used. So to prevent you from having to do it over again, they'd love the recording if you get a chance.
So currently we've recorded it, and I'll send the recorded version through. But if there are any follow-up questions, you can always get back to us.
Sure, and we'll be happy to do so. Thank you all for taking the time this afternoon. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
right?
Yes.